Hello and welcome. We are starting out the podcast today. This is the What Did I Miss podcast, and we're starting out with some cleansing, meditative ins and outs. There was a lot of booing, a lot of dissing, a lot of tension over the weekend, and so we want to sort of start at a peaceful place. Is that good, guys?
I guess. I mean,
What is wrong with you? Embrace your
It's not
namaste.
really my comfort zone, but okay.
I mean, you got to try though. You got to try anything because that's where I am right now. All right.
It feels nice.
Did everyone have a good long? I mean, I call every weekend a long weekend because, well, it's sort of been my life for 2.5 years. Everyone have a good one? Anybody did you run any marathons, Gabe? Do we need to know about anything stupid that you did before we start?
No, I had a very normal weekend as a dad. I was hanging out with the Paw Patrol, and I conducted a treasure hunt that nearly went wrong. But other than that, normal weekend.
As in, like, what? How does a treasure hunt almost go wrong?
I don't think this is the way we need to start the sports show. I'll be happy to share this with you later. For those of you who listen closely, 45 minutes from now, I'll explain that tease.
Oh, that's okay. Well, that's a tease. Well, on that note, Paige, let's just get started. Hey, everybody, it's sports.
Yeah.
Should the Warriors be worried? Okay, that is Kyrie.
You want to hear about a Paw Patrol birthday party? I'll tell you about it.
No, but that's literally how, like, well, it was either that or are the Lakers staging a comeback? Like, those are the two talking head mantras over the weekend. And I can say this. Are the Warriors in trouble? Sure. Just like Steph Curry said, if the playoffs started today, yeah, they would be in trouble. But I'm not worried. Draymond's still out. We'll figure it out. I say we. No horse in the race. Are the Lakers staging a comeback? Also, no. If the playoffs were starting today, they still suck and they're not going anywhere. So there you go. That is your NBA standings rundown right there in about a 4-second.
No.
What do you mean?
Sorry.
No?
You can't. You have to address the fact that LeBron James put 56 on the Warriors. They're back in the playoff contention.
They're not.
They're real. They have LeBron James, the greatest player of our lifetime. And they can't just be dismissed.
Of our lifetime? What life? Are you 7? What's wrong? No, not alive. You were alive when the greatest player was playing. A. B, they can be dismissed. So let me ask you this, fake Lakers fan. You think LeBron James is going to have to shoot like that and have 56 points for them to win a game? Like, how long does that last, realistically? There aren't enough haters in the crowd to motivate anyone to do that game in and game out. And by the way,
I'm also
dumbest
old enough
interview
to
I've ever
remember
heard.
a time. I'm old enough to remember a time he did precisely that with a worse team and beat those same Warriors by himself.
How many years ago?
I also remember that. Well,
How much younger was
several
he?
years ago in a different city, and he was younger. But the man can do these things. So I don't think you can just be like, oh, they're done, they don't matter. And the Warriors do have
100% are done.
problems.
They are 100% done. I bet you anything you want right now that the Lakers are completely irrelevant come time for the playoffs to start, progress, and finish. They will not be a part of the conversation. They will, because somehow somebody wants put himself in it. But other than that, they will not be a part of the actual game being played on the court. Fact.
Okay.
Fact.
I like it. I like your certainty.
No, it's called confidence. Okay, ladies. No, it was a good performance by LeBron, but unfortunately, you can't expect the guy. And for everyone to keep saying, oh, well, when Anthony Davis comes back, like, are we this dumb? Like, are our memories this short? Okay, big freaking deal when he comes back. For how long? How long is he going to be back for? How long till he gets hurt again? How long till the dysfunction sets up one more time? This is just it's like a fluke. It's like you have like a relationship that's dead, but then you have one good date in the middle of it, but you're still a relationship that's dead, like, period. You just had a nice dinner date and you had a moment and that was it. That being said, talking about relationships, that was actually a weird segue that I did not intend. Kyrie Irving, the ex-girlfriend. What's wrong with him? Okay, so he got booed at the Garden. Boston, Jason Tatum also had a nice weekend for himself, but he got booed in Boston. Now, Boston and Philly, for me, are the two most notoriously unforgiving fan bases, and I love that about them. Pettiness is sort of like, it's like you wear it as a badge of honor. But he got booed, and that's fine. But here's what he said after. I know it's going to be like that for the rest of my career. Coming in here, it's like the scorned girlfriend wants an explanation on why I left, but still hoping for a text back. I'm just like, it's fun while it lasted. Okay. Now, that's not, I love the insinuation that, like, why he left. It's more like oh, my ex-boyfriend's a crazy, wacky conspiracy theorist who lives in his parents' basement and wears tinfoil hats. I really don't like him, but there he is. Boo! Pfft, that's what it is. It's not like they're missing anything or it was like what could have been or there's any sort of love lost. I think it's just like you have proven to be sort of an unlikable character to a lot of people for a variety of different reasons over the course of the last few years. And I think as a Boston sports fan, that's just an easy target, right? Like I'd almost boo him and I have no real reason to. Is he wrong or am I being an ass? I don't know anymore.
I was curious about the whole analogy or metaphor, whatever that is, to the whole ex-girlfriend thing. I thought you guys were going to pounce all over him for that. Like,
why?
That's not
Which
how,
part?
I don't know. I felt like there was a lot of material there that you could rip.
Oh,
into.
the idea that it's always us that's like, oh,
Yeah,
why did you leave?
You're right.
Yeah,
that's where I thought you were going to go.
But that's what I'm saying. I think it's funny that he thinks that in this equation that a girlfriend would be the one wondering why he. I don't think a girlfriend's wondering why he left. I think the girlfriend's thinking, "Holy shit! I was supposed to be on that plane that crashed into a mountain, but luckily I missed my flight." Boom. That's a good one.
Yeah.
And also, booing's fun, and he knows that. And he's the villain, and he's embraced being the villain. And I think that's a wise move.
Booing is still hating is still fan behavior. That's the only thing I'll say. Like,
what do you mean?
So it does kind of feel like they're scorned girlfriend. I just mean that like,
no.
if I am them, I'm like, don't boo, don't even acknowledge, don't care, move on.
But it's fun. Well, you have mob mentality. So once like two people boo, then it becomes like a whole thing, right?
Fair.
It's also when you're a fan at a sporting event, you are, for all intents and purposes, for the next 2.5 hours, you are family with the people around you for the most part. I mean, there's the occasional outliers that are there for the other team, but you really are. You sort of joined in by purchasing that ticket. Is like, okay, for 2.5 hours, we're besties. We're all besties. And I don't think it's like, because the insinuation here is that the scorned girlfriend would want you back, right? I don't think there's a scorned girlfriend here that wants anybody back.
That's right.
I think everybody's very happy with what they ended up with in their next relationships.
I think everyone knew it was a toxic relationship. We had to move on both sides.
Yeah.
I also think, though, you guys are being a little bit too kind to Boston and its terrible fans.
Here we go.
So listen, these people are so petty. They're so inclined to whine and moan and be cranky about everything, despite all of their riches.
I mean, it's freaking cold.
All cold. Okay, it's cold a lot of places.
True.
You know, you got a Dunkin' Donuts every other block. Warm up in there. The fact is, these people in Boston and the greater New England area are so spoiled that they have to tell themselves they've been wronged because, God forbid, for a few years, they weren't competing for a championship. Like, oh my God, Celtics fans, how have you coped? You only have an entire friggin' building with banners hanging all over it. Big friggin' deal. Like, stop crying about everything every single time something doesn't go your way, because 2 years later, it's going to be fine again.
I did watch Winning Time, and now you're making me think of Jerry West, this whole entire monologue that you're doing right now, because he lost to the Celtics all the times. But yeah, no, I get what you're saying. But again, that's part of being a sports fan. I think there are sports fans amongst us that are like sort of those weird sunshiny rainbow unicorns flying out their butts kind of people that just want everyone to win. And like, I'm just here because it's fun and positive. And then I think most of us, it's an us against the world mentality when you take on life as a sports fan. And if that means that you're arbitrarily finding enemies or that you have an enemy in anyone, then that's what it is. Look, I make fun of LeBron, and I still will, because I think that thing he did on his little show was just asinine and ridiculous about how he finds a hater in the crowd. Like, it's just stupid, right? And the fake laughter that goes on around him, that's a whole nother thing. But I do understand the mentality. Like, some people just need to have an enemy to prosper. And as a fan base, I think Boston is one of those. I think Philly is one of those. Those are the two, because because those are the two violent fan bases that I've personally had interactions with that were always like, Jesus, y'all need to relax. But I also know that you hate Boston. And I will say this about Kyrie. He sort of knows his role. Like, he's embraced it. He doesn't care if he says things that's offending anybody. He doesn't really care if he's rubbing media the wrong way. Like, he almost, I think, gets off on rubbing media the wrong way. That's also a horribly played sentence, but we can go ahead and edit that later. But, you know, that being said, like, he gets it. Now, that leads me to Benjamin Bartholomew Simmons. No idea.
Sounds right.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's middle name's Bartholomew until it's
Benjamin
not. That's my rule.
Simmons
So he's
the third.
Is this Bill Simmons' son, Ben Simmons? What are we talking about?
Wouldn't that be a twist that we didn't see coming? God, that'd be great. I would love it. So he's allegedly going to be in Philadelphia for this game this week on the bench with his new team, the Brooklyn Nets. That is what's being reported right now. Granted, we've got a few days before that may or may not happen. But we were trying to figure out, Paige and I discussed this before, we're trying to figure out, A, what's the end game? Like, what is the point of sending Ben Simmons after basically being out of the public eye and not in a basketball arena for quite some time, having his first sort of entree back into that world be sitting on the bench in what will be the most hostile environment? I can't figure it out. And I have two theories, but I want to hear what you guys think. Like, what are we doing here?
Oh, I don't have a good theory on this. I'm very curious to know what you think. Because if we were taking it seriously that he really was having a hard time, I don't know why you would put him through that.
Right.
Unless he wasn't having a hard time, in which case you're trying to troll. But I don't know, is the bench the place to troll? I don't quite get it. I'd love to hear your theory.
That's not bad. Paige, do you have any theories on it? Because that's a good point. The mental health thing was always front and center for this.
Yeah, that's a good call. We did not consider that in our pre-show chat.
Mm-hmm.
I
what?
go back.
Hold on.
Yeah, you're not part of those, Gabe.
Sorry, it's fine. Don't worry
They're
about
girls
it.
only.
All right.
Girls only meeting.
Yeah.
Sorry, no boys
Solid
allowed. Read the sign.
Yeah, I think. Oh, sorry. I think what I want it to be is that Ben Simmons himself is insisting on going, insisting on sitting on the bench, and he is fully leaning into like a villain role. That's what I want.
That's what I want. That's the theory that my heart is clinging on to. Yeah. My heart of heart says no way. I don't think he's wired that way, but hell, we don't know. No. He could have had an entire turnaround in personality since the last time we really saw him. What I want is for him to show up dressed like either just obnoxiously, you know, something that'll piss people off, which at this point it doesn't. He could wear jeans and a t-shirt and they're all going to be angry anyways. But like just embrace this heel turn. This would be an epic, very public, very intentional heel turn that is really sitting there for him to grab onto if he were to take it. Because the only other reason is, hey, we just want him to be with the team and we're just going to rip the Band-Aid off slowly because you're going to get booed. He's going to get booed for the rest of his life in that building. It doesn't matter. And he's going to get booed even harder the next time he's actually playing basketball, which could be in the playoffs. Who knows? So maybe they think, let's just get the first phase of the booing out of the way. Like,
what if he shows up in an Eagles jersey? Does that complicate things?
That would be. I think they'll boo him. I mean, they're going to boo him.
He's getting booed no matter what.
Like Kawhi Leonard got booed here forever, and that was an ugly divorce. And I think Ben's was. It's a very ugly public divorce. And then at the end of the day, I also think, who gives a crap about if they boo? Like, you're making $1 bazillion. You're young. You can do whatever you want in life. Like, I don't give a crap if anybody's booing. And I want him to embrace that. You know what I mean? So I hope he's on the bench. I hope this isn't just sort of a lie that's sort of, you know, placating us for the next 2 days and then game time shows up and he's not there. I really want him to be on the bench. It makes the game that much more interesting for me to watch.
I want to make one suggestion because I'm on the side of all heels here. Ben, if you're listening, here's what you do. Even if you're not going to suit up and play, you go out there in warm-ups and you stand behind the 3-point line and you shoot righty and you start draining threes righty and you just look over like, you know, maybe that was the problem the whole time. Maybe I was doing it with the wrong hand.
That would be, he would go from sort of like the butt of all the jokes to a legend, dare I say.
A legend.
That would be legendary.
Beyond the rest of them hard.
Yeah, I want him to do all these things. I really do. I think a heel turn for him. It's not often in life that somebody offers you a heel turn on a platter like this, and he's being offered that. So accept it. That's our basketball. Those are our hot takes in the NBA for the week.
That's right.
They were super hot.
Basketball talk.
Scalding. Yeah. But I will, in the interest of full transparency, I meant to watch UFC on Saturday. I had every intention of doing so, but I ended up binging 1883 and lost track of time. So Gabe, I believe you are the one who really, really watched UFC and can
I
take over
actually
now.
watched.
Go.
Oh, do you want to hear about it?
Yeah, of course I
Tell
do. 'Cause I
us
was
about it.
interested.
Tell us
think
about it.
In the whatever Kyrie Irving is trying to achieve with his personality and the reaction he gets.
Yep.
He's like a brown belt right now. The black belt of what he's doing is Colby Covington.
Yes.
And Colby Covington sold this fight because he is loved and hated in equal measure. Look him up if you aren't sure what I'm getting at. Colby more than embraces the heel. He's also a very good fighter. And so he and Jorge Masvidal were the co-main. It was a pretty good fight. It lasted. Ultimately, Colby won. What was interesting was not so much their fight, but as soon as he wins, he beats this guy who's we've been hearing for weeks is like his most hated rival. He can't stand him. You know, they used to be best friends. Now they hate each other. They want to beat the hell out of each other. He wins the fight. Joe puts the mic in his face, and he instantly calls out Dustin Poirier. Like,
wait, is that who he fought last time?
No, he just wants a fight he
Just
can promote.
pick someone else.
He's just picking a different weight class. He's not even the champ. Like, he's just going after a huge name, a marketable name.
Smart.
Colby and Dustin have a little bit of a history, and Beadle, you'll like all of this. Basically, Dustin said, I won't fight that guy in the octagon. If we fight, it's going to be in the street, and we'll go to jail. He was like, I'm not letting him have my money off of fighting me, but I'll fight him whenever he wants.
In the street.
Yes, so they're both agreeing they want to fight each other very badly. If they happen to get paid for it, okay. I don't know if they're going to make the fight. Dana wasn't really clear on whether that's going to happen. But I thought it was amazing that he gets done with one overhyped fight against a villain, and then he just instantly creates a new rival. It was pretty awesome.
That's a guy who gets it.
He gets it.
Yeah.
He gets
Yeah.
Isn't his whole career not, I mean, he knows how to fight, but there are a lot of people that know how to fight who maybe got like a smell of a chance and then that was it. Wasn't his like he was sort of on the cutting room floor, but then he figured out this like embrace this character heel and he sort of embraced like Trump and MAGA and all that stuff. And next thing you know, you couldn't fire him because he had too big of a following and people were too interested, or, you know, the love or hate thing is very strong. I would say hate sometimes is actually more profitable. And so I think in that regard, like he's like WWE, but like actually fighting, like really fighting on top of it. It's kind of it's like a brilliant mix. And 1000% they're going to make that fight. How, of course they are.
It's just, they got to come up with a number and a weight. But yeah, you're 100% right. While watching, and by the way, the best fight of the night was the co-main, the fight just before it. Renato Moicano just took an absolute beating, but lasted the whole way through. It was like they had to get involved and double check that he was even healthy enough to keep going. He kept on fighting. It was a crazy, bloody, wild fight. But yeah, I mean, Colby is really, really, really good at that WWE game.
Yeah.
And a lot of people really, really, really hate him because of the stuff he puts out there publicly. Like, he's brought politics into it, and a lot of people... So they were cheering for Jorge during the fight, and that didn't seem to bother him at all. He's and fun.
It's not... Look, he's it's brilliant. Am I going to be a Colby fan? No. Do I appreciate the game he's figured out? Yeah. And it's not just the political side. He's embraced sort of the Dan Blazerian, like, pig... you know, women as sort of objects to be collected, like that lifestyle. It's a lifestyle sell for like bros. Bros love that shit because they fantasize that's their life, I guess. And he gets that. And it's brilliant because he's a household name now. Well done, Colby. Whatever I think about you as a person, which I don't know, by the way, at the end of the day, this could be a Larry the Cable Guy situation. He may have none of these thoughts.
No,
he
I'm
may
pretty
be
sure he's
a
got these
liberal
thoughts.
artist ballerina, like for all we know. Like, okay, well, I tried.
That
by the
part's
way,
not an act.
I'm
No,
seeing a
he's
note on
all
here.
in.
Like Drake bet 255 or 275 grand on Masvidal. Why is Drake telling us about all of his bets lately? What's the deal? What's he doing?
I'm thinking that there's an album coming.
It's called I Lose Bets or I Suck at Gambling.
He's
Why
just
are you
like trying to
telling
get
us?
out there. I don't know. He likes being in the sports world.
He does, doesn't he?
That's all I got.
Bless his
Like,
heart.
he likes to
Is
be
like-
associated.
He's the Aaron Rodgers of music. He can't take a night off, man. He can't. He has to
just-
put
Wow.
himself
He's out
out there.
I never thought 2 years ago or 3 years ago that the name that would be filled in on that sentence would be Aaron Rodgers. What a weird
I
twist
know.
in life.
And yet,
And yeah, here we are.
yeah.
Another twist in life is when you
Look at us.
spend weeks and weeks. Well, that's true. weeks and weeks promoting a man's last day at the job in the specific building, and the entire world shows up for it, and some schmoes actually go out into their savings accounts and drain them to pay for a ticket to sit in a college basketball arena to watch Duke lose. And that, friends, is a Hollywood storybook ending. Anybody have any problems with the way that went down? Other than the fact that, hey, Texas and Kansas, you need to end your game on time so that we don't have to flip back and forth to figure out where everything was going on. But like 96, I think, former players showed up. Legitimately, the highest ticket was somewhere around 80 grand, and God only knows everything before that. I mean, there's a lot of grands in between. And all of that so that North Carolina could hand the Dukies a loss on Coach K's final day. Cameron, I sort of loved it. Loved it. I feel like America loved it. Am I wrong?
Nope. It was
no,
poetic.
you're right. Delightful.
Do we all win? I think we
Everybody.
Yeah, I
wins.
hate to say it, but yeah.
like
And the problem is the people who go to Duke, you know that they think, but really the joke's on you guys. We're still Duke. You know, like they're thinking that, and that makes it even sweeter that it didn't go right. I just listen. I know you're not allowed. It seems like in sports media, especially today, you're not allowed to say anything bad about Coach K. He's just like, apparently he's perfect. He's never broken a rule. He's not like any of the other college basketball coaches that have success.
Sure.
He's
A
somehow
unicorn.
managed to do all this without ever doing the things that everyone else does. Fine. To me, he's just boring Popovich.
well,
you know,
hold- no,
like,
I'm
imagine-
starting to get offended, but go on.
Well, no, that's a compliment to Popovich. Popovich is interesting.
Because Popovich is great, but
Yes.
not boring. That's your point. Okay, go on.
That's my point. Coach K is really great, but intentionally boring. Popovich at least says what he thinks.
I'll give you that.
Okay, thank you.
Coach K just seems angry. Like, even when they showed him sort of walking in onto the court, like, they're all the fans and stuff, again, who paid bazillions of dollars to be there, and they're just trying to get like a high five. He just I don't know. He's not warm and cuddly, which is fine, but it makes it that much easier for those of us who really, at the end of the day, I don't, again, no horse in this race either, other than just human interest and sort of vibes. Like, I take the vibes off this, and I just think it just was a perfect ending to what was hyped up for this an amazing night of money and festivities and celebration. And then to see like North Carolina's coaching staff sort of get dissed by some of the Duke coaches. It's perfect. It was a perfect ending. You couldn't have scripted it any better.
So my takeaway was it's so perfect for the rivalry. Like, that's what sports is. That's the best thing about this, is that it was UNC, who's a bad team this year, beating them. Coach K's last game at Cameron. Everything was great. That's sports. That's why you like sports.
Paige, are you dead?
I'm not done.
Oh, you're back. Ooh,
Are you guys
that was close. No, no.
Oh.
Did you die?
Duke cut in to
Yeah,
one of their
listening.
To cut me
tech
off.
wizard grads got in there and broke your internet for a second.
This was like, I wouldn't even say
My
it's an
bad.
upset, because who cares? It's the biggest spoiler. It's like the best party spoiler. And it was well done. Again, 80 grand though. Are you guys paying 80 grand to see anything ever in your life? Like, anything? Is there one
No.
thing? Like,
No.
to the moon, maybe? If you could take a ride to the moon for 80? No, I don't even think I would do that.
No.
Actually, I know I wouldn't do that. But 80 grand for one game. One game.
No.
Man. As my dad likes to say, that's just a person with more money than sense. Okay. And last but not least, the underwear Olympics. The only thing I can say about the NFL Combine, the only part that I saw a couple parts, all via Twitter, obviously. But that's how I knew it was still going on. Because every once a few hours or randomly during the day, a bunch of grown-ass men that I follow in sports media would just sort of have like these weird, I don't know, moments of, did you see that? And like, oh my God, he's so fast. Like things like that. And then I was like, oh, it's still going on. But other than that, what are we done? Is the Combine done? That's maybe first and it's done, right? We're finished.
We don't have to talk about it any longer. They got all the events out of the way. All the measurables are in. Everyone's geeked out for now. Yeah, I think. But I don't know why you're saying it's just guys. There are plenty of women who are geeking out with the guys.
Not because I give us more credit. That's why. I'm not going to bring us down with that stupidity. I'm just not. Like, here's the other thing. This poor guy with an 8.5-inch hand. My God. Are we just going to embarrass him?
But that got thrown out there like everyone knows what that means. I have no idea how big my hand is.
I didn't either.
No
I know
clue.
mine are gigantic. I bet they're bigger than 8.5. Look at that.
What?
That's
18?
bigger than my
8.5?
head.
Like, can he hold a friggin' football? I feel like he can.
Well,
What
I
does it
thought
matter?
I didn't know at first. Without any context, I was like, "Is that good?" Like I didn't even know. I was like, "Is that
Yeah.
good or bad?" What's normal size hand?
Apparently, a normal quarterback would have a bigger hand than that, and that might be an issue if he can't.
But don't we
hold
do
an
this
NFL football.
every year?
Yeah, we find
Every
one
year,
guy.
Joe
Burrow,
Burrow.
right? The whole thing. Like, oh gosh, who cares?
I also think it's funny as a woman, men sort of hold certain things on their bodies in high regard as far as size is concerned. And just the correlation between hand and all that is just a very sort of, it's just too much information, quite frankly. And as a woman and a sports fan, I don't know that I needed to know all that about that young man. And now I do. And now I'll never look at him the same again. I hope everyone's happy with the embarrassment that they provided. I will say there was one standout star. One person took the whole thing. Rachel
That's right.
Bonetta is the star of the NFL Combine. Once again, providing laughter and fun in an otherwise boring event.
We'll draft Rachel.
I saw Rachel sitting in the stands trying to clock 40s with a little watch.
Yes.
And she was perfect. Was she
Killed
doing
it.
other stuff? Trust me.
That
She
was
and
the best.
Colleen Wolfe did some whole thing of like dressed up like, just killed it as a star. And she probably knows how big our hands are. She could probably tell us how to measure them properly. Yeah, she was funny. That event needs that, to be honest. Because I can only watch media run a 40 so many times before I'm like, none of y'all are going to beat it. Like, we already know how this ends. It's been done. Rich Eisen started it, and Rich Eisen will finish it, and I'm good with nobody else doing it in between. There. I said it. I know that's unpopular. I don't give a shit. Okay, let's take a break. More stuff happened allegedly, but I don't think so. So we'll be back in 1 second. It's March, which means basketball is in full swing. For many of us, well, there's no better way to enjoy those games than by having some skin in them, which is why BetMGM remains the exclusive betting partner of The Athletic. As a fan of The Athletic, you can bet $10 to win $150 plus a free 3-month subscription or extension to your subscription with The Athletic when you bet with BetMGM using our promo code. Just sign up at BetMGM.com, use the promo code TheAthleticPod at checkout, and take advantage of this special offer from the king of sportsbooks. That's bet $10 to win $150 plus 3 months free from The Athletic at BetMGM.com and using the promo code TheAthleticPod at checkout. New customer offer. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions.
21 years of age or older to wager. Arizona, Colorado, Washington, D.C., Indiana, Iowa, Michigan, New Jersey, Nevada, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, and West Virginia only. Excludes Michigan disassociated persons. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP in Arizona, 1-800-522-4700 in Colorado, Washington, D.C., Nevada, Wyoming, and Virginia, 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help in Michigan, 1-800-GAMBLER in Maryland, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia, 1-800-BETS-OFF in Iowa. Call or text the Tennessee Red Line 800-889-9789 in Tennessee or call 1-800-9-WITH-IT in Indiana.
Relationships take work. A lot of us will drop anything to go help someone we care about. We'll go out of our way to treat other people well, but how often do we give ourselves the same treatment? We work out, we might meditate, we might read, we also try to decompress. And these are all ways to invest in yourself. Well, this month, BetterHelp Online Therapy wants to remind you to take care of your most important relationship, the one you have with yourself. Whether it's hitting the gym or making time for a haircut or even trying therapy, you are your greatest asset. So invest the time and effort into yourself like you do for other people. We are all juggling so much. We think we can do it all, but sometimes we need a little outside help, someone to guide us through life's ups and downs. BetterHelp is online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can be matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. Give it a try and see why over 2 million people have used BetterHelp online therapy. The podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp, and What Did I Miss listeners get 10% off the first month at betterhelp.com/whatdidimiss. That's BetterHelp.com/whatdidimiss. All right, let's come back. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to What Did I Miss? Other things happened over the weekend. I feel like quietly a lot of things happened, but now I'm here for you to tell me what else did I miss, guys? Go.
I would love to tell you things. I'll start. You may have seen this, but I'm sharing this because it got me very fired up for March Madness, which is that the Kentucky women's basketball team in the SEC championship against number 1 South Carolina, coached by the legend Dawn Staley, they beat South Carolina with a 3 from Dreana Edwards with under 5 seconds left, and it was electric. Incredible. I loved it. Did you see this?
I did miss this. This was something under the category of what else did I miss? But your description of it makes me feel like I regret that I had missed it. And I could see how that would have been exciting. Was there any storming of any courts, or was it no? This was on the road?
No court storming. An incredible post-game interview, I will say.
I like that.
With
I like
Dreana.
that.
She was fired up.
I would think so.
Just cliche quote after cliche quote. They were not expecting to win by any stretch. But, it was the... we're not done yet. No one believed in us. I mean, it was incredible.
No one thought I'd perform at the awesome. NBA All-Star game.
Yeah.
Nailed it. That's good. Yeah. No, and now it's also
DJ
like the
Khaled,
sort of childhood fantasy when you're practicing by yourself. Like, half a second left, shoots the 3. Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
And there was 5 seconds left, so technically South Carolina still had a chance to get a shot off, and they just didn't get a good one off. So Kentucky
Paige is
wins.
saying that South Carolina is overrated heading into March Madness. Noted. What else?
Quote it.
Noted.
Here's someone who's not overrated and probably is underrated.
Wow.
Shaquille O'Neal turned 50 this weekend. That's sort of a reminder to our older audience of how old things really can be.
Yeah, that sucks.
So in his honor, thankfully, my Twitter and Instagram feeds were filled with just non sequitur videos of Shaq, including one of him and John Cena trying to squeeze into a tiny car. Loved that. And also a long thread of him just running the court as a young man and then smashing on people. And Beadle, I was slow playing you earlier when I sort of insinuated that LeBron was the greatest player of all time. Here's the truth. I honestly believe, and this is how I genuinely feel, I think that Shaquille O'Neal is better than Jordan or LeBron.
Oh, whoa.
And I think if you just watch him for like the first 10 years of his career, it's pretty hard to argue this.
No, it's actually quite simple to argue that. But look, by saying that, I'm not saying like, my God, how would you even mention his name in the same sentence as Michael Jordan? Like, I'm not saying that. I think Shaquille O'Neal, for reasons that both he worked on and was also gifted with at birth, like size was nothing he could control, but he could control everything else that he did, which is work hard and, try to get better at certain things and crush people's faces. Like that, yeah, I think is one of the most dominant, memorable. He also has that combination of crushed it on the court and perhaps could say crushes it even harder off the court. And it's like the perfect formula for just a juggernaut global superstar, which is exactly what he is. Like he works hard. I don't think he's ever said no to anything. And a lot of times I would make fun of that. Like if I'm talking about Mario Lopez and not saying no to things, I'm mocking. Okay, that's a different thing. But with Shaq, I'm like, no, Shaq just works his ass off and seems to be enjoying every bit of it. Because like we all know that if Shaq wanted to stop doing this all today, he could. And he'd be fine. Yeah. So the fact that he just keeps doing it all is like, I mean, sometimes I'll sit at home and be like, why is he doing anything? I would do nothing if I was Shaq. It always comes back to how lazy I want to be. I would do no work.
I was going to say, didn't we say this last week with someone else?
No, it's like, it's super impressive that it's Shaq.
I don't know why Mario Lopez took a stray in the middle of that compliment of Shaq, but we're going to move on from that.
Sorry, I'm keeping it real, Gabe.
I think... Okay, thank you. I just feel like people just too quickly forget stuff. Like, we're falling in love with Giannis, and it's like, oh yeah, Giannis is a really great player. Guys, 20 years ago, someone bigger, stronger, who could play more defense, smash on everyone,
totally.
Just embarrass the living shit out of people constantly.
But we do forget.
He's on TV still.
Well, and think about, and I'll try to look in through the eyes of the young people. They only know him as the guy on TV. Like, that's the thing about sort of life and time going on. Yeah. It's like, of course we forget. We forget things all the time. Look, I have, through my eyes, it's a little different because as a Spurs fan, like, Lakers that was a rivalry here. Like, they hated each other. And I remember Shaq would always sort of throw shade at, like, David Robinson. And as far as characters in a comic book go, you couldn't have two more different people than David Robinson and Shaquille O'Neal. It was like flash and LA and just in your face and like quiet and just sort of silent and stoic. It was just a very bizarre dichotomy. And, you know, I hated Shaq as a Spurs fan, but I love Shaq as like a consumer of all things media. And I just, you know, he's crushing it. If you follow him on Instagram, when he's working with Candace Parker in the studio, it's some of the funnious. It's almost like he has a schoolboy crush on her sometimes. And I cry every time because I'm like, this is hilarious. It's hilarious. He's living his best life and always has, apparently.
Do you think that the Youngs know him just from TNT, or is he like the icy hat guy?
Yeah, or our General Insurance, or Papa John's, or like he has everything. Yeah, I do. I think if you're a 15-year-old NBA fan, you don't really see him play at all, but you know him as that guy, and you could go back and watch. But how many kids are going back and watching anything? Nobody.
Go back, kids. Go to the YouTube. Have a wormhole on Shaq. Go to the Orlando Magic and watch Shaq.
That's right.
The first few years. There's never been anything else like it. It's just, it's the coolest.
It's what Zion Williamson, I think they hoped for. I think that's what we hoped for in Zion.
Yeah,
was the
we're
size
pretended he's nothing even close.
Well, clearly not.
It's not even close to what Shaq could do.
We don't know.
Generational talent.
We may never know. Yeah, I agree. Shaq is.
Speaking of generational talent.
Oh, if I swear to God,
segue
comes out of your mouth.
Nice.
Speaking of generational talent, first of all, I'm going to need you to relax for a second. Lewis Hamilton, back on social media, apparently showed up at Paris Fashion Week. That's not even the point. He showed up at Paris Fashion Week, and he sat with our girl Zendaya, and per his own tweet, said, quote, "I asked her if I could be on season 3. Those Euphoria kids need a t-shirt for real."
Well, there's a part of me that's like, oh, I hope he really does watch Euphoria. Because it's like a point for him if he's watching Euphoria. And they need more than a teacher for real. They need a lot of things. But he could actually probably play a student at this point, because I think some of those kids are like 31 years old. So technically... You could still be a high school kid. I just love that he got to sit next to Zendaya, because everyone knows I love her so much in a creepy old lady kind of way. But yeah, I'm not going to say anything else rude about it. Fashion Week is fab. Good for him. He loves that fashion. He's always he's pushing the envelope, showing up to the track, unlike anyone else. So, fashion.
Athletes like fashion, and therefore he is an athlete. That's how it works on this.
There you go.
Right?
So that's argument's done now.
That's right.
Finally. Oh, great. Feel good about it.
Can I bring that up from last week? So you did put out the poll, Beadle.
Oh, right.
Your extremely biased F1 loving fan base.
First I worded it incorrectly, as someone pointed out to me, and they were right.
Well, go ahead. Please explain, because I think that the results might skew Team Gabe. I think.
Wait, what were the results?
We do have a voicemail later in the show. If we want to.
Shut up, Gabe. Read the rundown. God.
Oh, okay.
My
bad. All right. So F1 goes into the Paw Patrol segment later on.
That's right.
This is the After Dark podcast version later. What else? Were you gonna say something?
But we can stay on a fashion kick. Yeah.
I love fashion.
Yeezy slides are out or coming out, or
they're out
Yeezy
today.
Slides. Okay, great. What do you think of those, Beadle? They look to me like crappy, college shower sandals with like UGG bottoms. They don't look like anything fashionable to me.
They look like a saw.
I'm shocked they're only
like
$70.
Bottom.
I'm assuming they're plastic or rubber or something.
They cost 70 cents to make those.
Max.
The markup is 1,000,000%.
That's right.
I'm not giving Kanye West 1 cent of my hard-earned money. And by hard-earned, I mean whatever this is. But still, I'm not giving him 1 cent.
You know who tried to get them, though?
Oh, God.
Jerome.
Why is Jerome such a Canadian douche? Jerome.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Jerome.
That's right, Jerome. Edit that in, please. Edit it into the podcast. If you buy a pair of Yeezy slides, Jerome, I will make sure that your life becomes an unbearable living hell from here until the end of time. So just know this.
It already is. He has to edit this whole show
That's right. That's right.
No, I hope he doesn't get $70. I mean, look, I'm actually shocked, because if you look at Yeezy anything, they're so overpriced, and to say these are only $70 actually feels kind of funny. But no, they're hideous and they're worse looking than Crocs. So there's that.
Let's not hate on Crocs, though.
Let's
if I
not
may.
not hate on
No,
Crocs.
let's
Are we
not.
going to pretend Crocs are cute now? Come on. Look, I'm not saying they're not comfortable.
No, not
But
cute,
they're not
but
cute.
they're functional.
Yeah, exactly. So are my Uggs. They're hideous,
Okay.
but my goodness, they just love my feet.
That's fair. All right, same category. I agree.
What else did I miss?
Okay.
I know what I'm wearing to the next recording of this show, by the way. There's going to be,
Crocs.
get ready. My
Tie-dye
feet are making an appearance. Yep.
Yes. Oh, that's the
Okay,
podcast I was waiting on.
this one really pertains only to me.
Oh.
And I guess Jerome. We'll loop him into the East Coast, kind of. Bad news for us. There are, and I quote, big invasive spiders that will be taking over the entire East Coast. And the worst part of this entire headline is that they are parachuting in, so they're flying. Big invasive flying spiders are coming for us all.
From where?
What?
Japan.
Where are they parachuting from? Well, did they fly and then parachute, or did they get dropped? I don't understand the parachuting.
I think,
Where are they coming from?
Yeah, the parachute part.
Like,
Thank
are they
you for
on a
asking.
cargo
the parachute
plane?
part.
Seems
Well,
like chemical. This
not
is
to
like
my knowledge,
warfare,
but
I believe.
they like use their little webs and then they like get blown away, or they'll like get onto people or things. Apparently, they're afraid of everything, and you're unlikely to get bitten. But I am.
I don't mind them.
Why are you awing that? No,
Because they're
I'm
afraid.
deeply concerned.
Remember when your parents would say, he's more afraid of you than you are of him? Like, this pertains now, finally. It works.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not afraid of
so-
spiders, but I do. There's something amazing. Look, I'm a big believer in there's going to come a day when the animals are finally going to say enough is enough, that this alien snow globe experiment that we're all living in right now, and they're going to switch it and be like, all right, all this torturing and eating
Sure.
that you guys have been doing, watch this. And the spiders are going to be a very big
Animal
part of that.
uprising.
Exactly. I'm a big fan of that because I've been pro-animal
many
the whole
spiders.
time. Is that a
Anyway, I'll stay on the invasive
Good luck, though.
parachuting spider beat for the remaining of the summer.
I do hope you survive it. All
Well,
kidding
I
aside.
feel like we fall for this every
Thanks.
few years. We're told about something. Like, remember the murder hornets?
Murder hornets, yeah.
Well,
Good
they
call.
I feel
had
like
bad
this comes
timing.
up.
That was the only
What
bad
was
thing
their
about
bad timing?
They
about?
they came out like in the middle
Was
of
the state
COVID,
on
and
fire?
nobody had time for that. Like, it was like, oh, and P.S. murder hornets, and we're like, look, we're just trying to breathe right now, so if you could just leave us alone for 5 seconds. And they sort of just came and went. Now, if I was murder hornets PR, I'd probably do like a relaunch, come up with some more attributes that are a little scary,
Like a
and see what
rebrand?
happens. Basically, sometimes you just have to go away and come back for us to appreciate you.
If we're gonna
That's right.
workshop the murder hornets PR team right now, here, let me propose that. Good idea, Beadle. How about
you.
this?
Yes, and?
What if, guys, to help sort of, I think we got off to a bad start. Our image is not in a great place. What if we sell ourselves as the antidote to the invasive spiders that are happening on the East Coast? What if
Right.
they have
I see.
parachutes, we fly in, we eat and murder all those spiders, problem solved, we're the new heroes.
That's definitely a spin. That is something they could look into. Or if it is in fact part of the animal uprising, they don't care about eating each other. They care about us, getting rid of us. That's what you need to be worried about. And Paige will be first.
Well, one note, first of all, rude. Second of all, one note on that is, I guess, Jerome, real-time notes here. Their fangs are too small to break human skin. So I now feel better. I still don't want them on my person, but
Well,
Low
I
risk
don't
of
mind at all. They can't
death.
even bite you, dude. I don't mind
Yeah,
spiders.
actually,
I try
as
to put
I'm-
them
as I'm-
outside.
I,
Sorry.
yeah, that's where they belong.
Like, only things I
Spider-
kill are scorpions and snakes, if I can. That's it. Everything else, you get a pass.
Ugh.
I don't like snakes, and
I
I
pass on
sure as hell am not letting a scorpion live another day if I don't have to. Even bees, even the bees that get in the house, we try to get them outside. They don't have long lives anyways, but I at least would like them to have a shot.
Bees are dying at an alarming rate. We cannot kill the
Exactly.
bees.
Well, I don't want to kill the bees, Paige, but they come
Okay.
into my house. It's all right, stand your ground, but I don't.
That's
I put
fair.
them back outside.
Stand your
So shut up. I'm doing the best I can with what I have. Anyways, it's Texas law.
Stand your
Shut up. I'm trying. I also love that.
Okay, Texas. Here we go. Here comes. Last topic. Something you, ironically, I'm most sure that you missed. I wasn't sure if you knew about the invasive spiders.
I did not.
I figured you probably had some familiarity with some of the other sports topics that we wondered if you'd missed. This, I'm sure you missed. You are in a synopsis newsletter. this
God.
morning. Lots of quotes that you've provided
So
to inquiring minds. They did a very nice write-up of you. They talked about this show. They talked about the work you do with the Spurs, your career, your passions. This is a really nice piece. People hopefully will have a chance to look at it. But, Beadle, I do want to bring up one particular quote here because I feel like maybe... I'm hoping maybe this was transcribed incorrectly. This is Beadle speaking about this show. Quote, "With podcasting, I'm learning something new every single day. I like that I sometimes feel like a fish out of winter." What?
Ah, yes. It's an old Italian saying. A fish out of winter. Okay. So clearly that's supposed to say fish out of water. And I thought to myself, these assholes completely ruined. And no, in fact, I went back to my email sent folder, and sure as hell, I apparently typed out winter instead of water. But I would also like to say, you would think somebody would have been like, did you not mean water here? Is this a saying we've never heard of? Because what does the fish out of winter even mean? Really?
Can you
But I
ask
do
them
feel
to
like a
issue a
fish out of
correction tomorrow?
Yeah, I want an apology. No, I screwed up, apparently. I sometimes feel like a fish out of winter. You know, I'll make it work. I got to think about it for the rest of the day.
It's poetry.
Man, they're probably like,
Beadle,
who's this idiot?
I kept reading, and I'm starting to think that maybe you're a little mixed up about how like water works and like just your water metaphors and analogies, because you referred also to this show as being very fluid, and I was like, what does she think this is? Like,
It is. We literally have
I
no
thought that was
idea what
very
we're doing.
accurate.
Right, thank you, Paige and I in our pre-show talk. We discussed it, and we think it makes sense. Oh, let's take a break, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
When we come back, I'm going to go come up with more phrases that don't make sense. And then we've got text and a voicemail. We're so popular. Oh, hey there. It's Michelle Beadle. Listen, being an adult can be a pretty big hassle. Okay, so you're working all the time. You might have kids. You're too busy with your dogs. Well, the last thing you want to worry about is going out and buying groceries and then bringing them home in all those bags. With HelloFresh, you get farm fresh, pre-proportioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. HelloFresh offers 50 weekly recipes featuring a range of flavors, cuisines, and ingredients, so you'll never get bored. Try something new every week. There's something for everyone, including weekly low-calorie, vegetarian, and family-friendly recipes. HelloFresh offers the flexibility you need with customizable orders every week. You can easily change your delivery days or food preferences and skip a week whenever you need. So what are you waiting for? Go to HelloFresh.com and use code BEATLE16 for up to 16 free meals and 3 free gifts. That's HelloFresh.com/BEATLE16. Welcome back. We, as you may or may not know, we have a phone number, 631-397-0403. And on that phone number, you can do texts, you can do voicemails, you can do whatever you need to do. Get it out. And we apparently have some, Paige. What do we have?
We do. I'm going to start with the text, and then we'll do the voicemail. The text says, "Hi, Michelle. With the Lakers being terrible and a lot of finger pointing at Russell Westbrook, and rightly so, how in the world did he make the 75th anniversary team, and Tony Parker did not even get an honorable mention? If I remember correctly, he pretty much carried the Spurs to their last NBA title. When has Westbrook ever, quote, led or even helped win a team championship?"
Okay. So I don't know who in LeBron's camp texted this in, but I will say this. I don't know why the slander of Russell Westbrook it's ridiculous that he's having to bear the brunt of all of this. Like, how do we go from America's sweetheart when he was doing the triple doubles and everybody, you couldn't get enough Russell Westbrook, couldn't get enough of his runway fashion coming to the arena. What's he got? And now all of a sudden he's like enemy #1. Now, do I think he's on the top 75? Probably not, but I do think the fact that the Oscar Robertson stuff, I think that was all a big part of his legacy. Tony Parker, I would love to have seen him on the 75. If you're gonna knock somebody out of the 75 and put Tony Parker in, his name is James Harden, okay? That's the guy who's not supposed to be on the top 75 team. That's the guy who not only hasn't led anybody to the playoffs, but matter of fact, quit in the middle of the quest. So yeah, I'm going to replace in my mind, and I already have, James Harden with Tony Parker. You're welcome, text guy.
Oui.
Whee. What else? Oh, God, I'm nervous. Okay.
We have a voicemail.
All right, I'm going to play it on my phone.
Let's play it here.
Because technology and stuff. Okay.
We will edit this out. Go ahead.
Hi there, I'm
But
fan
Gabe,
of the podcast.
you see the text.
I'm calling to voice my vote for Formula One, and I have a couple of questions for Gabe. Number one, what are you smoking? And number two, can I have some of it? Because that stuff has got to be strong.
That's awesome. I don't know who that is either. I love that, Gabe.
So
Go on,
you
Gabe.
see why I waited a beat to come back to
Yes.
the poll, because Beadle, you
What are
did
you
put
smoking?
the poll out. So first of all, maybe Gabe, let's answer this man's question. What are you smoking, and is it strong?
This very smart man.
Well, sir, like all great athletes, I need to recover from all the sports that I do, because I am very clearly, by the definitions of this silly podcast, an elite
Jesus.
athlete. All right, so I do, where it's legal here in California, smoke my share of weed. And it is as strong as I can take as a 40-year-old dad of 3. So you're welcome to have some of it. If you'd like to come to Los Angeles, we can meet up, talk about Beadle, and smoke some weed together.
Jesus. Okay. Hey, man, it's legal. Do whatever you got to do. What were the poll results, by the way? Sure. Oh.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you for asking. So the poll results, we netted out at around almost 5,000 votes. Pretty great.
Okay.
And F1 barely edged out golfers 51.3% to 48.7%. Yeah. Gabe, suck it. We're right.
No.
That's how I'm reading it.
Do not celebrate this. Your highly impassioned and biased audience was basically split statistically within the margin of error, split 50-50 on this question,
Hold
which
on.
means that the general population would be strongly in my side.
That's not what it
Have
means
you
at all.
seen Beadle's mentions? Impassioned is true, but
No.
not in her favor.
Yeah, people don't like me, Gabe. This is
She
a
has-
fact. Has been for a while. I've
You
accepted
have
it.
cultivated a large following
right.
of elitist race car driving
Yeah.
European and
everyone's
South
European.
American car
I wish.
enthusiasts.
I
and
wish
they
this
have
was true.
voted in your favor.
First of all, we've elected presidents with smaller margins of error, so that 100% counts as a win
Right.
for F1 drivers.
A great point.
It's overwhelming, quite
point.
frankly, if you ask me. And I will say this. I also worded it incorrectly, so shout out to the person who said bad wording. He's right. I wrote bigger athletes originally, which
Yes.
that's kind of weird. It should have been better athletes, which I tried to fix after the fact, but by then it was already too late. So that being said, because technically golfers would be bigger athletes, I think, as far as
Like
height is
physically
concerned.
bigger.
Like
All
height. I
Are
don't
the
know
F1
about the rest.
drivers
Every
very
real
small?
sport. Of
Pretty small.
course. They have
Yeah.
to fit into those tiny little cars.
Right.
Yeah, they're pretty small.
That makes
Like
sense.
there's so yeah, but
They're like
congratulations.
jockeys. It's like their number one qualification
They're not
is that
that
they're small.
small. No, that's not the number one qualification at all. They're not like unfortunately
Sorry,
jockeys do a lot
their
of unhealthy.
dads were all very rich. No.
Ah,
Gabe, the fans have
that's
spoken.
only some. Yeah, the fans have spoken. Respect the fans, bro. All right, we nailed it. It's probably one of the better episodes. I have no idea. No, it's not. Jerome, I love you, but also
Sure.
don't ever buy those shoes.
Fluid.
We have another one coming on Thursday. It's a very fluid thing. By the way, as we just talked about, 631-397-0403. But we do have a bit of news, and I'm ending the show with this moment. We have our very own YouTube channel. This is what
Yeah.
I'm gonna. If you go there, it'll be me opening up new toys, and I'll probably make $20 million this year. I'm sorry, no, that's what 4-year-olds get to do on YouTube. But it will have episodes. It'll have our favorite clips. It'll have. Maybe we just do a montage of stupid Gabe moments. Subscribe. Go to it now. What Did I Miss channel on the YouTubes. Got it?
All of them. All the tubes.
All right. We're gonna subscribe, so we have at least 6 subscribers by the end of today. For Paige, for Gabe, for everyone, and for Jerome's awful fashion taste. This has been the latest episode of What Did I Miss?